right, and it looks like we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. It's your midweek dose of the mining market signal. And I'm doing things a little bit differently here with the background, the set. You like that? That all right? I wanted to make some changes here, make it a little more comfortable and keep you from staring at all the junk in my office. So we've made a change. Let's start with the Crypto Fear and Greed Index and get a brand new reading, a fresh reading on the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Right now, it looks like we've got a greed index of 75. So we are in greed, not quite extreme greed. And we have had things kind of dip down a little bit since the last time we chatted. That's right, lovely audience. Yes, greed does move these markets. Yes, fear also does move these markets, but occasionally we move from the extremes back into something a little more balanced. If you see me kind of like moving around, I'm at a standing desk and I'm also using a Swiss ball. So I might be kind of making myself more comfortable when I'm not otherwise featured on screen. But 75, guys, that for me, I view it as, again, not legal financial business advice. I view that as something of a counter indicator. When everybody else is greedy, makes me cautious, not fearful per se. Fear doesn't really help us, but when everybody else is fearful, I think, okay, I can move into something more strategic. Greed doesn't actually help us either, in my opinion. But is that advice? No, we don't do that around here. So, jumping back in, let's take a look at that once again. Just a reminder, guys, this is a live show. So as you are commenting, I'm going to be able to see your chats live as they come in. I see Pocket Change in the house saying, hey, drop your live link in Discord. Let's go. Where's everybody? Show up. Hit those buttons. That's right, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that share button. Bring in a friend. Prudis FLC. Best, he says. Or she. I didn't mean to assume your gender. I'm not trying to make it weird. But Prudis is here. Thanks, guys, for making those comments. Remember, try to keep it family friendly so that I don't have to repeat anything nasty you've said. But we're not such a big channel that you have to like super chat in order to have your comment read by me or to be interacted with. Ask questions, answer questions if you have an answer, right? Let's create some sense of community in the live comments as we go. Let me jump back out of the way here, though, and let's take a look again. Guys, Crypto Fear and Greed Index over time. We are now at that point, right? We got a full month behind us of neutral to greedy, right? We finally crossed over that point where we've only been in the neutral to greedy territory. Go back 3 months, and of course, that tells us it gives us some more context where we were living in a fearful range for a while. So coming back up to this area, this is the air quotes new normal, coming above $40,000 Bitcoin and now closer to $50,000 Bitcoin. People are feeling very, very comfortable with this range of kind of being a little more greedy, expecting for Bitcoin to go up. People are weird, right? Shiny object syndrome. You see that the price has gone up recently and you think, oh, it's going to go up forever. No, it won't go up forever. So that's why we need to put a little bit of our strategy caps on, right? We don't need to be fearful, but we do need to be strategic and think about what comes next. So that's our Fear and Greed Index. Tonight's episode is brought to you by the Mine Your Biz phone. We sold out entirely of the Pixel 3a model. That's right. We no longer carry it. We are from this point forward only carrying the Pixel 4 and the Pixel 4 XL. Why did we go with these models? Well, you can read a breakdown over there on mineyour.biz/phone. Learn all about that. If you're so inclined, there's a link in the description. But let's take a look. Guys, the Fear and Greed Index is a sentiment indicator. This primarily tells us what's happening on Reddit and on Twitter. And we can learn a lot from being on Reddit and on Twitter. I know a lot about like how to be a terrible human being too. But it does give us a sense for what people are feeling fearful about and especially what people are feeling greedy about, right? DeFi Summer, the first DeFi Summer, basically happened on Twitter. That's where it started, and that's maybe where it will end, right? DeFi Summer 2.0, and now the NFT Summer, or Summer of NFTs, is happening primarily on crypto Twitter. And so we see this here, and we know that this sentiment comes from somewhere. We can read it from somewhere. But what drives the sentiment? What makes people feel the way they feel about cryptocurrency? Let's take a look at some of the articles. If you're curious about these articles or you want to read them in depth at your own pace or at your own leisure, you can find those down in the description. All the links that we use in this show are in the description for your convenience. But let's start with one about Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley owning over 1 million shares of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. I don't think many people saw that coming. Not all of these were disclosed in a time or in a way that would have caught all of our attention. So let's read this just briefly, some highlights. Apparently, they hold several shares of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, or GBTC. Now, as for me, I'm not a big fan of this. It's not the native asset. I'm a very big fan of holding the native asset. Bitcoin proper, right? BTC. That makes more sense to me. But there are some people, based on their investor status or based on their net worth, who feel a lot more comfortable investing in something like the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, or because of some sort of legal requirement, they must invest into something like GBTC. Well, a group like Morgan Stanley would fall into that category. It'd be a lot easier for them to get exposure to Bitcoin via GBTC than to try to hold their own Bitcoin in a sovereign way, right? They're a corporation, not an individual. But apparently, the SEC files showed that they've got various different funds, right? Over 30 different Morgan Stanley funds that hold large amounts of GBTC shares. So all of this is in the aggregate. It's not just like Morgan Stanley that owns all these Bitcoin, GBTC shares. It's a bunch of little portfolio funds that Morgan Stanley controls that owns them in the aggregate. It's kind of tricky, but I mean, that's just a list of businesses that own a list of funds, right? That hold GBTC. And it looks like it's almost 700 Bitcoin worth, or over 700 Bitcoin worth with the largest fund, which is the Morgan Stanley Insight Fund. Then there's the institutional fund. Then there's the institutional trust and the variable insurance fund, and a bunch of others that have a large amount of GBTC as well. Kind of weird, right? Kind of weird. I mean, here's the thing though. We can kind of do this sort of stuff for ourselves as well. Not going to talk about it in this live stream. Why? Because I don't offer legal, financial, or business advice. All I'm going to say is the tricks that we see these characters do, these cats, we can do them too. But we have to figure out how to do it at the level that we operate and be smart about it, not like break any laws or be silly, right? Get ourselves in trouble. The point is, they've got over 30 different entities that are holding Bitcoin. There's no good reason that you or I couldn't do the same if we thought about it long enough, or if we hired a professional to help us get that done. But apparently, back in June 28th, when it was still in the low 30,000s, Morgan Stanley finally disclosed a big position in the GBTC. It's kind of funny that that's when they disclosed it. There's no telling exactly when they purchased it. It could have been when it was lower. It could have been when it was a bit higher. But that's when they finally disclosed it. Hey, we got Nicholas Barba in the house saying the two RTX 2060s I bought both need an 8-pin power cable each, but my PSU only has one 8-pin and one 6-pin. And they both seem to be connected to each other. Is it okay to use a 6 to 8-pin adapter on one of them? I think it depends on the amount of current that each one of those needs, but as it is a high efficiency part, you're probably fine. Don't quote me, but you may be able to supply power in a different way, like you're seeing. It probably shouldn't absolutely like wreck the thing, especially if it is a spanned power cable that has a little extension, right? An 8-pin and then an additional 6-pin. Oftentimes those are configured to be 8-pin and 8-pin. So that's my take on it. Check the rating on your PSU just to be safe. Anybody else in the audience who wants to give Nicholas a hand as well, give him your feedback on feeding these brand new RTX 2060 cards that he got. They're going to be great little miners for him. So let's help brother out. But this is Morgan Stanley's news, right? But there you go. Morgan Stanley and others want a piece of Bitcoin. So in addition to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust position, they've also been investing in crypto companies. That's right. Apparently one that is supported by Coinbase, Securitize. But Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and all the major banks apparently seem to want to expand their Bitcoin position and all of their Bitcoin and cryptocurrency related investments. And it's small wonder, right? They're finally starting to figure out that the intelligent investor is looking at some of these organizations and saying, Bitcoin, well, it doesn't fix every problem in the world. It kind of fixes the problems that you guys make. We don't really need you. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. So we'll see if the filing by Morgan Stanley actually does trigger a new wave of adoption. I'm not convinced necessarily that it will. Monkey see, monkey do, and especially in these markets, right? When you have the traditional finance markets and you have the traditional tech investing markets or players in tech investing, they tend to be very risk averse and they tend to just do the thing that they've seen somebody else do safely. So I don't know, maybe we will see a bunch more financial players jump in. What do you think? Do you think that Morgan Stanley really holds that much sway? Are they really going to pull in the next JP Morgan into the space and get them to copycat and ape into getting more Bitcoin? What does your crystal ball tell you? Tell me in the comments section. All right, guys, that's the one piece of news there for Ethereum. This is kind of big too. This affects us pretty directly. And I read this, not going to lie, it kind of upset me a little bit. We have another piece of Ethereum specific news that will affect us as GPU miners as well that caught me off guard. Guys, while we're still kind of kicking off the live stream, let me just ask you again, or thank you in advance for hitting that thumbs up button, and ask you again, please do hit that share button and tweet this out, send it over on Discord, tell your friends. The more the merrier. As we have live comments and as we have a live audience, well, we can do things now while we're live that we won't be able to do later when people watch the playback, which they will, but we're having the most fun here. So the more the merrier. Go ahead and invite as many people as you can. All right, so Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Solana send DeFi value to record levels. There are a couple of names absent there. You may be noticing, why didn't they mention stuff like Avalanche? Why didn't they mention Matic? Let's find out. Well, oh my gosh. Really, really kind comment from Crypto Ghost saying this channel is quickly becoming a go-to crypto source. I'm hoping to get into some part-time mining in the near future after relocation and have a bit to learn as far as the technicals. Hey, I really appreciate you saying that, Crypto Ghost. The great thing about this channel, at least as we're live, is that you have a wealth of knowledge from people who are here to discuss the hot topics and help bring additional insight that I can't possibly have, right? Collectively, together, we're way more intelligent than just one of us. So thanks for being here and thanks for contributing. And thank you again for the kind words. That's awesome. So here we go. It says, with the Decrypt article, it says that NFTs have sucked up most of the attention this week, and we're going to get to that, actually. NFTs have really, really made a splash. It's been fun. But decentralized finance protocols have quietly been attracting larger stores of capital. And I think a phrase that we should probably start using more on this channel, I'd like to start using it more, is total value locked, or TVL. I've got a friend who's an attorney who always uses this term, or this phrase, this term, and says, TVL on this network should be able to grow to this point. And I'm like, man, he's really got a solid sense for how that works. I'd really like to develop that sensibility too and learn the kind of like how to figure that out, so the total value locked. So in addition to just the price of a coin, right? We always think of price of a coin, especially as miners. We think of, okay, I'm going to spec mine this coin and maybe it'll start at a sub Satoshi value, right? And who knows, maybe it'll go all the way up to a cent. That'd be a lot, right? Be a huge return on our newly mined coins. We rarely think about like, okay, but what if on top of that network, there's some other activity that then forces the value of the coins to go up or gives me something interesting to do with those coins, like lock them into a liquidity pool. We see this on Ethereum now, right? It's become a very obvious choice for some of us now to be able to lock in liquidity on Ethereum with protocols like Uniswap, right? SushiSwap, or even Matic, right? Which isn't technically a second layer, but is also technically not exactly a first layer. It's just a scaling solution for Ethereum. It's custom to Ethereum. But we can do that in Ethereum. We think that way with Ethereum, but these other networks they kind of force us to think that way here as well, even though we can't mine to those coins, right? But it is kind of sobering, right? So they're attracting larger stores of capital, but the total value locked has hit an all-time high this week of $157 billion. I know, that sounds crazy. Here's the good news, though. For us as GPU miners, or for anybody who's interested in GPU mining, the good news is still that of 157 billion, about 117 billion of that is on Ethereum. So I think we're still in the right place, but the winds are changing, right? The tide is shifting. We have to be very, very careful that we don't stay too long, right? The Ethereum core developers, they don't like us. They don't want us. They want to try to scare us away. We really can't stay around forever and wait for the conditions to get really negative towards us. But for right now, out of $157 billion of total value locked in Ethereum or into DeFi in general, capital D DeFi, 117 of that is on Ethereum. So we're in the right place. But let's take a look to see where all the rest is too. As far as the rest of the total value locked, well, Ethereum is right there at the top of the 114 billion. It reached a peak of 117 billion in August, just a few days ago. But you've got, part of that owing to the fact that the Ether token itself has gone up in value, right? We couldn't have anticipated that. So the fact that Ethereum itself or Ether itself went over $3,000 and specifically over $3,200, that kind of drove that total value locked number up, sort of artificially propped it up because just the ETH alone, let alone like the USDC and all the other stuff that runs on top of Ethereum, all that other stuff, all that other stuff stay the same, especially with the stablecoins, right? By their nature, they're supposed to stay the same. But Ethereum grew in value, the Ether token itself, which kind of pumped those numbers up. But Binance Smart Chain, they actually had a typo there here on Decrypt. Should have said Binance Smart Chain. But that's almost $20 billion in total value locked. And then BNB, it went up, which did the same thing. Guys, let me do some quick shout outs for people who are here live with us right now while we still go through our initial news. Barry Merritt, thanks for being here. Ian and BS, as well as Cryptid Youth, a few others. Who we got here? Chump Change. I think I saw Pocket Change too. Yep. Anonymous Miner is in the heezy. Thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate that. Appreciate you being here live, answering questions and interacting, being great community members. Guys, really, in the end, we got each other. If all this other stuff went to zero, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just crypto, right? But if all this other stuff went to zero somehow magically or, whatever, just disappeared, giant EMP, solar flare, we still got each other. So thanks for being here. But as far as, hey, Dave Jack is here from Canada as well. Nice. We've got a Canuck. Thanks, bro. Thanks for being here. I'm sorry, did I say it wrong? I meant to say thanks, eh? We're glad you're here. But BNB also went up by 65%, which kind of inflated those numbers as well. We would not have seen an almost $20 billion TVL if it weren't for the price of Binance coin going up. So you see where this is going, right? Solana did the same thing with their total value locked, hitting the $2.5 billion mark. But Solana itself, the coin, pumped by almost 50%. We saw it on our chart when we first did our proof of stake smart contract portfolio, right? So it's not too shocking, right, to see that happened for Solana as well. And then Terra blockchain, right? Ticker symbol Luna. It went up also to about $6 billion total value locked, reaching an all-time high. It's never been there before, but it's also never had a coin price this high before, which likely inflated those values too. So yeah, there you go. 250% pump in the Luna token. So yeah, not a shock, right? Not a shock at all. Avalanche Network, right? AVAX. It went from 163 million, it's still very, very young, up to almost $2 billion. That's huge. But they had a liquidity mining program of almost $200 million that just launched last week. So there's a lot of attention on AVAX, guys. Even I'm considering doing a bit of a crash course on AVAX so that those of us who are involved in GPU mining at least know how to be able to bridge some of our assets from Ethereum over to AVAX if we're interested, and maybe participate in activities like this liquidity mining program. There could be a lot of upside. I don't know, maybe. But if we don't know how to do it, right, then we're kind of stuck at step one. But apparently those rewards, yeah, they're working. I'll say they're working for sure, right? To go from 163 million to almost 2 billion. That's huge. Right, they did a 10x, more than a 10x in a very short amount of time. But Polygon, according to this article, Polygon's falling back. This is kind of a bummer for me, seeing as how I still take my mining payouts over Polygon. I receive wrapped Ether from Ethermine on the Polygon network or the Matic network. So it's kind of a bummer to see that it's dropped back down to 50% of its TVL all-time high. Gosh, we're speaking in acronyms now, right? TVL, ATH. But anyway, the total value locked, it's a bummer to see it kind of backslide from where it was before, because it was really killing it before. Now it's kind of low. But they say that DeFi traders, the way they end the article is to say that in a troubling sign for Polygon, almost comes across as a hit piece, the latest numbers show that DeFi traders are increasingly willing to do their business outside of Ethereum altogether if the price is right. Frankly, we saw this with Binance Smart Chain. People didn't seem to care about whether a network was centralized or decentralized, whether it could be controlled by a small group of validators that were just over at the Binance headquarters in China, which itself is kind of a decentralized business. It's not a DAO per se, but like they don't just have like one main campus that houses all the employees there. So it's this weird thing, right? Cryptocurrency is, if you step back, if you kind of zoom out on blockchain, this is a weird industry. But people don't seem to care that much about decentralization when it comes to DeFi, right? As long as they can make money, they don't care. They just don't care. But that's some of the news as far as DeFi. And I think it's great news, right? We've been seeing all this news about NFTs, and we're going to get more into that right now. But if you just looked at Twitter and if you just looked at Reddit, you'd think, okay, well, NFTs are taking over the world. What's happening to us as miners and people who just want to deal with the coins and try to make a sort of a more sound business or investment strategy for ourselves and kind of deal with more the harder assets of like coins, right? And liquidity and lending, right? Or locking things up to be able to get higher yield. What if we're more serious about that and we don't really want to become art collectors in NFTs? Well, what's to become of us? Thankfully, this is good news, I think. Seeing all this total value locked reach all-time highs across the DeFi market as well. So even though we're hearing good news about NFTs, it doesn't mean it's bad news for DeFi. On the contrary, it's only getting better for us. So let's see, Barry is chiming in and saying stablecoin yield farming has gone flat on Polygon. The APYs offered are small now. Ooh. Yeah, that hurts. That hurts. Stablecoin yield farming is kind of a cornerstone activity within DeFi for people who want to, like, air quotes, play it safe, go into like DeFi savings or DeFi banking, so to speak. I mean, gosh, my mom asked me, I think I mentioned it on stream a while back. My mom asked me if there was a good DeFi savings program or if there was a company that I recommended to her, right, as my mom, that would be a good DeFi savings program. I was like, oh my gosh, I hadn't really thought about like, what do you tell, a person this age about DeFi? Like, if that's their first question to you about all of it, is where do I put stable coins to try to get yield? Like, where do you start? So I was very cautious about that one, but it's good to know that on Polygon, it's kind of going down. But let's take a look at this. This kind of has me concerned as well. We need to be aware of this because it's coming up. This is Cryptid Youth says, not financial advice to your mom. Bro, you don't know my mom. There's some history there, to say the least. I mean, she's known me my whole life. She doesn't even ask me like my advice on what's something that a mom would ask your advice on. Does your mom ask you advice on anything? My mom doesn't ask me advice on hardly anything. This kind of came out of the blue. It's like, wow, you're asking me advice on that. Okay, well, not advice. Yes, I actually did that. I made the hashtag symbol with my fingers. I'm like, yo, moms, I don't give you advice. I said it just like that. So last little bit of news in terms of DeFi specifically that's going to affect us this week. This is coming up, but this week. Cryptid Youth, I feel sorry for your mom. LOL, JK. Don't be. It's cool. I feel sorry for my mom too. Like, what are you gonna do, right? It's too late. It's a lot of years too late, right? There's no going back. This is how we ended up. She's got to deal with it. So, yeah. But as far as some things coming out of the woodwork for Ethereum, right? So we're looking at the 3,200 level before $800 million worth of ETH options expire. Right. This is a big deal, guys. When these ETH options expire, we're going to see which way the wind blows. And that $3,200 level is apparently what all these traders are looking at. So while all of us are like stoking our mining rigs and, getting our overclock and undervolt numbers just right, getting new gear and trying to figure out like, oh my gosh, like what do we do like next week or the next 3 weeks? These traders are trying to decide what the next price for Ethereum is going to be and whether or not we're going to get all those profits. Guys, quick shout out to Rafael Martinez Zayas, who's saying, love your show. Press the likes. Hey, thank you for that super chat, Rafael. That really means a lot. Appreciate that. And hey, I don't disagree. Guys, you can hit those likes. They're always welcome and it's free. You can always hit like for free. You can do it. And if you're lurking, get subscribed. It's free too. You'll be happy you did. And I'll stop stuttering about it later. But $3,200, that's apparently the magic number, they say. Let's take a look. And yeah, check this out. This guy kind of looks like Tom Cruise, but with horns, doesn't he? That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, he's Tom Cruise. Bull Cruise. But this Friday, guys, the first time that $3,000 and higher options will stand a real fighting chance. Apparently, we didn't really have options that lasted this long. Apparently, this is a big deal. But moving downward, Solana captured 1/3 of the inflows into the crypto investment products over the last week. This is kind of a bad thing, but we also saw that Solana pump. And as was mentioned before, was it Barry mentioning it before, that with Polygon, right, the stablecoin yields have gone flat there. We're seeing sort of all of the velocity move towards other networks and all of the total value locked, like we mentioned before, that TVL, right? That for me, that's the acronym of the day. That's the vocabulary of the day, total value locked. We're seeing it deflate out of certain networks, and it's getting pumped up somewhere else. But there's new money coming into, and apparently the majority of that is going into Solana and the other smart contract systems. It's funny, in this article by Cointelegraph, they talk about Matic or Polygon in a positive light. They say layer 2 scaling solutions like Polygon have seen 150% gains after successfully bringing DeFi projects into the interoperability pool and launching a DAO to scale projects on their software development kits. That's actually newsworthy, and I apologize, guys. I didn't bring that before. Something that has increased my confidence in Polygon is the fact that they are launching a DAO. They are decentralizing the management and the governance of their network. That should help to allay fears like mine that they're overly centralized and that there's a risk to our funds staying on their network. But apparently, Cointelegraph says that they saw 150% gains after they started to do that, after the announcement. So they're showing it in a positive light, even though it is down from all-time high. But here's the chart. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. That didn't really help all that much. But you see right here, there's 3,000, right? 3,000. That is the magic number. But getting over 3,200 is where, you see that call open interest. It ramps up. There's some people who are very, very hopeful, right? Very, very hopeful for much higher than 3,200, but that biggest spike right there, both on calls and puts, is right at $3,000. This is huge, guys. We're seeing real time over the next 48 hours. Oh, hey, High Speed Miner says, I can't test. I'm here. Thank you. Appreciate that super chat coming in from High Speed Miner, guys. So show Raphael and High Speed Miner some love for throwing those super chats. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. But guys, we're seeing right here real time, these traders, they're trying to determine our destiny as miners. I'm a little bit concerned, just a tiny bit. But moving down to what their breakdown is, they think that bears need to push and hold Ether below 2,900 if bears want to have their way, right? If they want to make money on the way down, it's got to go below 2,900. But people are putting their money where their mouth is, right? And right now, as far as the calls versus the puts at below 2,900, the net result is balanced. And between 2,900 and 3,000, it's not only bullish, but it's bullish to the tune of $48 million. $48 million worth of people's bets, so to speak, is in favor of it going up. And then between 3,000 and 3,200, the net result is also bullish to the tune of $147 million, right? $100 million more that people are basically betting, putting their money where their mouth is to say, nope, Ethereum's going higher than that. It's staying above 3,000 and it might go up to 3,200. And then above 3,200, it's even more than that, almost $200 million that favors the bullish side of that equation, bullish side of the options. So it looks like there are a lot of people who are very confident we're going to maintain above $3,000. And for our sake, I hope they're right. You know, they're putting a lot of money into it. We're mining. We're probably still mining at a profit. Frankly, between me, and the fence post, we're probably still mining at a profit. But I would love to mine at a higher profit, especially for those ETH that I've been holding for a little bit longer that I already mined. And I hope for your sake that's the case too. But that's our that's the bit of news. This is imminent, guys. This is happening on Friday. So before we live stream again, we will be live streaming on Saturday morning. But before we live stream again, this will be happening. We're going to see this in real time. Expect Friday to be the day. And this is not some prediction from me. These are real numbers. These are real options that are going in. Oh, Dave is saying Discord link is dead. Bummer, guys. Something you can do. Let me go ahead and I'll show you live. Something you can do if you want to jump into Discord. First off, we're live right now on mineyourbiz. I know, it's crazy. It's super meta, right? That's me typing in the address just a second ago. No. Okay, before we get too far caught up there. If you scroll down, you can log into Discord right here, right underneath. And if you're not comfortable, maybe you're a lurker, maybe you feel the need to use YouTube anonymously because you don't like their policies, you can log into Discord right here on mineyourbiz, and you can use Discord as your own live comments section. We did that once before, really liked it. We might move to Matrix or, or like Element or whatever, Matrix in the future. But for right now, we're going to stick with Discord. You can use that. And I think, gosh, you know what? I think I did make that last link only a 7-day link, the one that's in the description. I apologize. I'll see if I can get that swapped out when we're done live streaming tonight. But for right now, you can just go to mineyourbiz. You can log in right there, either anonymously or you should be able to just actually log in. There are some pretty intense hoops you have to jump through because we've got very strong anti-spam filters. Not going to apologize for that though, right? It does help us avoid abuse. But here's the last article for the night. I saved I think the very best for last, but Budweiser now has a D-Pick NFT in its Ethereum wallet. Yes, the king of beers loves the D-Pick NFTs. What is it? There's a tear in my beer? No, there's a D-Pick in my NFT wallet. Snap. But yeah, so Visa, Coca-Cola, and a bunch of other large corporations, they've all been jumping on the bandwagon. Oh, Ed, I got... Is that crazy? I actually had to approve this comment. Alex saying, doxing myself on YouTube for fun and or profit. That's awesome, man. But so many corporations are jumping in and figuring out like, okay, we're going to get positive attention for picking up NFTs. It's a really great craze. We might even be able to produce our own and sell them, or maybe just distribute them as free giveaways. I mean, I'll tell you, having worked in live promotions before, the budget for creating and disseminating NFTs to people who show genuine interest is far less than a budget for tchotchkes. I remember I worked for Dell back in the day. It's been going on 10 years now. And we had a budget for not $1 million, but for 900,000 plus blue ping pong balls with the Dell logo. First off, it was a double entendre, right? They were blue ping pong balls and they were used for water pong, right? So we just gave them away. But I mean, we had a budget for that. How many tens of thousands of dollars were spent on ping pong balls? Now compare that to the cost of minting NFTs or doing lazy minting on a platform like OpenSea as a brand like Budweiser that has so much money, or Coca-Cola or Visa that has so much money for these sorts of promotional items. I mean, good grief, if you just asked them to, they'd send you a bag full of keychains, hats, t-shirts, hoodies, maybe even shoes, right? Like I mean, gosh, if you ask nicely enough, like the Cranberry dude, they might even send you a car, right? Like the Cranberry TikTok dude. There's all kinds of marketing budget that these companies have. So for them to get into NFTs makes sense, but they are bandwagoning right now. Let's be very, very clear. They all saw Visa do it or Coca-Cola do it, and they're like, you know what, we're going to do it too, gosh darn it. But what they're finding out is that as soon as their Ethereum address is publicly known, it is a one-way street. They can't stop people from just sending them NFTs or ERC20s or whatever the heck they want to, right? Sending them messages on the Ethereum network as well. All kinds of crazy stuff that's gone their way. And this, dare I say, is just the tip of the iceberg. So, Budweiser purchased NFT collectibles, including the beer.eth Ethereum name service domain. I've got to say, guys, that was a stroke of genius on Budweiser's part because they beat all of their competitors to that namespace. Like, they got it. Nobody else can have beer.eth. So like it or love it, you can't hate the fact that these guys got there first. You might not even like the .eth name service, right? The Ethereum name service domains, but they got there, right? Yeah, Golden Wolf is giving me grief in the comments for Discord. Says, lol, he has great spam guards, but his bot will spam you the crypto news. It's true. I have a pretty aggressive spam bot there, but it is segmented. It will tell you news according to Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Monero. So you guys can select what you want to hear. So you can mute those at your own leisure. But they got beer.eth, right? And that's you that, right? Can you imagine if it were some like little micro brewery from the middle of nowhere? Like, gosh, whatever. So so something that I knew from growing up in a given region of Southern California was 805 Brewery. Could you imagine if they went and bought it? What would Budweiser be willing to spend to buy it from them? Right? Domain squatting almost makes sense when you see players like this jumping in, right? And it's like, how much should they pay for beer.eth? Because I couldn't have been just sitting there at the Ethereum name service. Somebody else probably already had it. So they spent good money for it. But they're in now, right? Forever. They can hold it. But they had some other little gifts, such as PP Boy, dressed up like Harry Potter, and minimalistic Coke, and Crypto Dick Butt, Budgie Penguins, and Ether Rocks. But yeah, they just had a bunch of stuff. So they say crypto wallets are pseudonymous. However, when a person or company reveals itself as the owner, that opens up the potential for abuse in the form of receiving unwanted assets, regardless of intent. Cryptid Youth has a number on that beer.eth acquisition. Apparently it was 30 Ether, which, it's a healthy chunk of change. It's not bad, right? If you were on the receiving end, if you were squatting on beer.eth, you're 30 ETH richer now. Almost enough to stake. But yeah, Visa announced that it had bought a CryptoPunk. We mentioned that on Monday. And that's pretty much crazy. A bunch of other stuff that I can't show directly in their wallets because I will actually get the stream shut down. But let's do this in reverse order. I think what I want to show you first is Visa's wallet. This was just sent to them, right? A little toxic green glob of doggy poop, doggy doo, right? And it's number 6. So it could be rare, right? It's glowing green, looks rare, as they say. But this is in Visa's wallet. I can't click through because it's scandalous. The number of things that were sent into Visa's OpenSea account, like, they literally made me blush, and they would get me kicked off YouTube right now if I showed them to you. So, like, it's crazy because everybody just realized, like, okay, even though this wallet apparently is nameless, it didn't get any kind of an ETH domain name using the Ethereum domain name service. But people still knew because of the acquisition, and they openly admitted to buying the NFT that they bought. And here is Budweiser's. This is a gift that somebody said, gifts from Doopy, right? A gift for Budweiser. We'll take a closer look here because it's hilarious. Go forth, America. America's favorite beers. We went with 5th. And then, yeah, they even posted their source, right? Just to silence the haters, they posted their source. Can you imagine, though, having, like, for as solid a plan as it was to go out and buy the beer.eth domain name, now everybody knows. And so now you will get all those little microbreweries doing this to you, like, oh, yeah, boom, 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 boom. Customer satisfaction surveys and people at live events saying they hate your brand. Everything you can put into an NFT, they're going to put into an NFT, and they're going to permissionlessly spam the crap out of Budweiser forever on the blockchain. I'm here for it. This is hilarious. I saw this and just, loved it. Loved seeing this. So let's go ahead and shut that down. Jump into TX Street, guys. Let's get into some useful market information, something we can actually make some decisions with. I just found the news cycle tonight hilarious. Tell me what you think of that. What would you send Visa or Budweiser right now, or Coca-Cola for that matter? What kind of NFT would you send them? Tell me in the live comments, and I'll try to approve as many comments as I can because I'm sure we're going to get some really fun stuff. Some Goblin Loser says, I still do not understand NFTs. Well, hey, it's okay. All right, let's jump back in. Golden Wolf says, I'm only giving you love, man. No, I hear it, man. It's just, you're right. It's funny. It's like hypocrisy, but you got to kind of control your media channels. And Dave, thanks again for letting me know the Discord link is dead. Pocket Change is saying, is this your NFT announcement? Oh, Eternal Gasp. No, sorry. Eternal Gasp revoked. It's not my NFT announcement. But we are going to announce that very, very soon. And to be very, very clear, I'm working with an artist who is creating an NFT and I am promoting. So it is a little bit different. And Pocket Change is coming in to drop some knowledge saying some goblin loser. It's basically like an electronic painting. So the artist only creates so many and sells them. That's a great way of looking at it. It's a really great way of looking at it. And I think it's going to be only a matter of time before we see more traditional artists join into the NFT craze and sort of legitimize it. Seeing stuff sell at Christie's and at Sotheby's was kind of just the beginning. I think we're going to see a lot more. Okay, we're on TX Street seeing, ooh, excellent prices. If you're not familiar with this, all these South Park looking dudes and dudettes are transactions on the Ethereum network. We're going to click on this guy with the sort of scraggly black hair, and this is the exact transaction that represents. There's the hash for the transaction, and then the origin address and the destination address. This is a really useful tool because it shows us exactly what's happening. It's pretty faithful to what's really happening real time on the Ethereum network. It's not just sort of an idea. It's not just a visual representation of what could be happening or some kind of visualization of what could be happening. It's what's actually happening on Ethereum right now. And at this very moment, it looks like the current gas price for this block is over 78 Gwei, but the current median gas price is over 111 Gwei. It's quite high. The median ETH transfer fee is $7.50, and the median contract fee is over $50 right now. Ouch. But also, as miners, this is great, right? It's pretty awesome. So this is txstreet.com, and you can see the link down in the description of this video, guys. Everything that we look at on this show, there's a link for your convenience in the description. Feel free to use it or don't use it, whatever. It's just so fun, right? All these little like South Park looking folks. Isn't that great? We also see the various services they could be coming from, such as Uniswap. And it shows us right now what's happening on Uniswap, as well as a little wiki summary showing us roughly what Uniswap is all about. But these are the transactions happening in real time, as well as other little outlets or other little services that are used on the Ethereum network and dApps that are running on the Ethereum network. There's Tether, there's Maker, there's MetaMask, there's USDC by Circle, there's Shiba, there's a Sushi Swap, there's Rarible, 1-inch DEX, all kinds of services that we might want to use. It's pretty awesome. But let's take a look at Bitcoin now. And Bitcoin currently has a mempool of under 200 transactions. Median fee in sats per VByte is 420. That's funny. It regressed to, nope, it's back to 420. And the median fee in US dollars is 35 cents. Hey, Jungle John says, need more Gwei. I agree. Right? For us, right? Selfishly, for us, pretty awesome. However, we might be strangling the goose that lays the golden egg, right? Like, if we see this go too high, then we're going to see people more rapidly flee to AVAX, flee to Binance Smart Chain, flee to Matic, flee over to Solana, everywhere else. We're going to see them go, and Polkadot as well. Need to mention Polkadot, but it's not, I don't think I can mention it in the same way because there's some others that are EVM compatible, right? And I haven't even really talked about Pulse Chain yet, guys, because there's not a whole lot to cover just yet. But the point is, we're going to have a lot of options very soon. So hopefully we don't strangle the goose that lays the golden eggs. Fiat leak should show us where in the world all the crypto is going. Some goblin loser is saying, I'm interested to see how much of my 100 plus or 0.03 ETH will get burned off come the 28th to 29th. Ooh, that's a great question, man. All right, see all kinds of crypto floating around all over the world. Oh, I'm gonna kind of rest a little bit here, guys. Sit a little lower. And let's see. And Jungle John says, what is going to happen when ETH goes to proof of stake? Well, that's the crazy thing. Jungle John, when ETH goes to proof of stake, guess what? This representation of the network will largely not change. It'll largely stay the same. EIP 1559 is already active. All of this reflects the changes in EIP 1559. And Ozzy Boggin saying, did you forget about EIP 1559? We're not getting fees. Actually, we are. This shows it right now. This is with EIP 1559 already live. The London hard fork came and went, my friends. So this is happening right now. And when it goes to proof of stake, the only difference is going to be that all of these fees that are being paid to miners are going to be paid to stakers, primarily by weight, by volume, right? By the number of coins that they hold with that 70% pre-mine that the founders have in Ethereum. Who's going to get the most of that? Here's Fiat Leak. We see right now in real time, really high volume coming in for Bitcoin, fairly high volume coming in for Ethereum. Let's check out Bitcoin first and see roughly where in the world Bitcoin is going and which currency it's seeing most of. Here are our 152 real-time trades in the last minute, almost 3 trades per second. And this is coming from exchanges. This is not on-chain data necessarily. That's why we're seeing the fiat currency that's being traded for Bitcoin. Yikes. We see a lot of Japanese yen. We see a lot of US dollars. We see some British pounds. And it looks like we're going to have some other trades coming in. Yep, Thai baht coming in strong. So plenty of Thai money coming in. And the crypto mind says, F is killing mining. Loyalty needs to be a two-way street. You know, I agree with you. Bits Be Trippin', or Michael Carter of Bits Be Trippin', very wise guy, very wise man, says that there is no social contract between the Ethereum core developers and miners. He's right. There isn't really much there that's formal, but you would hope to see a lot more loyalty. I agree. It'd be a lot nicer to see developers from Ethereum not treat miners so poorly. Miners are what made the network as good as it is now. So, social contract or not, it'd be great to see them just kind of show a little more respect and loyalty. Nicholas is saying, yo, Seth and chat, what software do you use for mining optimization? Sorry for noob questions. I've been mining for just a few months, but never got to do any optimization. Hey, that's a great question. So while we're still just watching all of these APIs warm up, I'm going to start off and just say that a great way to get the initial optimization settings for a brand new GPU is to mine on Windows. And on Windows, use MSI Afterburner and adjust some of your settings within MSI Afterburner. So that's a great way to start. Once you know what your best settings are in MSI Afterburner, then you can take all the settings that you have there for your overclock and your undervolt, your power limit, and your fan speed, and you can plug all of that into HiveOS so that it runs automatically, gives you the temperature watchdog, the hash rate watchdog, can automatically restart if you lose power. It does all kinds of stuff that Windows won't do for you automatically. And if you are looking for a link for HiveOS, I've got one in the description. Yes, I am credited for that. It is an affiliate link, so I do get a kickback, but it costs you nothing to click on it, and it costs you nothing for your first 4 rigs to mine on HiveOS. I would say start with Windows first, though, and use MSI Afterburner to dial in some settings and figure out how you get the highest hash rate for those cards. But good luck. Also, if they're used, consider taking off the heatsink and reapplying thermal paste after you clean the cards so you get lower temperatures. Just might be worth doing now and easier to do now. But right here we got current price on Bitcoin. Oof, got a huge sell-off. Current price on Bitcoin, $49,244. So some Goblin Loser, I don't know, saying even with AMD, lol, MSI Afterburner too? Well, actually, yeah, you can use MSI Afterburner for AMD cards if you wanted to. But I mean, easier to use the Radeon tools, right? Like you've got, it's, gosh, what is it? It used to be called Wattman. It's not Wattman anymore. They've got their own tools. So you can just use the built-in tools on AMD as well. But he's talking about an RTX 2060. So I just took for granted that he wasn't talking about AMD. So I hope that helps, Nicholas. Thanks for asking, man. But US dollars are pouring in. Brazilian real is also pouring in. We didn't see that before. Korean won is coming in. Euro is coming in now as well. Guys, I appreciate the feedback for Nicholas as well. You can go ahead and address him, give him some feedback and some tips and tricks as we go. He might have more questions about those new RTX 2060s he just got. But yeah, that's my best advice to get started there. with the MSI Afterburner on Windows and try to figure out what your best settings are there, and then work those into HiveOS. It's almost always more efficient than just taking random presets that sometimes HiveOS will offer to you, or the community on HiveOS will offer to you. If you've done your own tests, you can know for sure that that's the best setting for that card. All right, that's Bitcoin at a glance. Let's check to see where all the Ethereum is going. Ethereum, where are you going? And guys, just want to take a minute to say thank you so much for hitting that thumbs up. Really appreciate that. Thanks for sharing the video while we're live. And thank you for being subscribed if you're not already subscribed. It's awesome that you're doing that. Here we see that there's plenty of US dollars going into Ethereum. I think also some British pounds and some euro flying in as well. $3,243. Golden Wolf is saying Mining Chamber has some settings to start with as well. Yeah, he definitely does. Here's the thing. When it comes to fine-tuning your own cards, there's really no replacement for checking your own settings. You'll occasionally just be subject to the silicon lottery, right? And different kinds of memory that will affect some settings that you can't just copy from somebody else. When it comes to getting the most out of your mining rigs, only one person can do that, and that's you. So, you know, I guess take that with a grain of salt. You can also just take generic settings and get generic results. It's up to you. But Japanese yen also coming in, big purchase coming in there. What is this? Malaysian ringgit again, which sounds like a cryptocurrency itself. Thai baht coming in as well. Lots of markets that are jumping in. Dave Jack is saying absolute core clocks were a game changer for me. That's cool. That's really great feedback there. Yeah, there can sometimes be a couple of really small adjustment, or what seems like a small adjustment that fundamentally changes the power limits, right? Or the undervolting limits of what a card can do and how little power it will consume while still giving you really good performance. So that's great feedback there. Yeah, guys, it looks like usual suspects. Looks like we're getting, yeah, low for the day, just over $3,000. High for the day, $32.45. So we're pretty close to the high for the day. This is pretty great. Pretty great to see right now. But that's Ethereum all over the world. Going into what to mine, let's start with an R9 3080, 14-cent power, 5 BTC of daily trading with averages for 7 days. And we got Ergo at 75 cents, Ethereum Classic at 53, and Zano in number 3. Where'd Zano come from? Well, clearly it's here. Something that's interesting about Zano, on their Twitter feed, they mentioned, just reminded the community that you can already use aliases. That was a primitive built inside of the Zano wallet. So if, for example, I have a wallet with Zano in it, and instead of giving you a big long address that looks a bit like a Monero address or a CryptoNote address, I can just give you an address that looks like mineyourbiz on the Zano network. And you can send Zano to that. But because it's private by default, a lot like Monero, I don't need to worry about address reuse. Pretty cool, right? It'll create a stealth address every time you send to that alias. It's pretty darn cool, in my opinion. Great to see them here on the leaderboard with over 5 Bitcoin in daily trading volume. I think that may have been what kept us from seeing them on the leaderboard before. But there they are, number 3, 34 cents on that R9 380. I'm shocked to see it on that old card. R9 Fury, HBM card, much higher performance core, which with much higher performance memory from that generation of card. Still an old card, you're not going to find it much anywhere. But scrolling down, we see Raven Coin at the top of the list here at $1.38 in profit, and Zano in number 2 at $1.41. Dang. Yeah, Zano coming out of left field. Cryptid Youth just tagged me and said, I just got a 3060 Ti low hash rate model card. I have two 3060s, non-LHR, but I'm not sure if I should mine ETH, Raven, or Ergo. What do you think, Mine Your Biz? Hey, you know what? Just because you asked, why don't we go ahead and we'll isolate the 3060 Ti and the 3060 as we do this rundown tonight. We'll take a look together. Sound fair? We'll get some feedback from the rest of the community as well, guys. What do you think? What should Cryptid Youth mine with that new 3060 Ti LHR card? Not the regular non-LHR, but and then with those two 3060 non-LHR cards. What do you guys think? Give them some feedback. But we're going to keep going through some of these numbers real quick so we get through all this stuff. 4 gig Polaris card. And we need to mark this up to 30.5 mega hashes and calculate for profit. Profitability is still 7 days, right? Difficulty for revenue is still 7 days. Volume filter still 5 BTC, and cost is 14 cents per kilowatt hour. Ergo at $1.57. Raven coin in number 2 at $1.29. And then Ethereum Classic at $1.26. Not bad. Not bad at all. So those are your top 3. Beam is also on the leaderboard, but it's below $1 per day. So I'm a little bit surprised to see it there at all, to be honest. But interesting. Ergo rearing its beautiful head all over again. 8 gig Polaris card. Let's see what it says. Ethereum, beep, 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 beep. Air horn that I made with my mouth. Ethereum at $1.86, Ergo at $1.68, exactly backwards. Raven coin at $1.26. So Ethereum, in my mind, still kind of makes the most sense here. I don't know why you would go with anything else at the moment when you could go with Ethereum. It just makes more sense, especially this week. Again, when we look at all those options and the potential for it to go up just a tiny bit more, maybe. A lot of people are betting a lot of money that it will. Doesn't necessarily mean that it will, but a lot of high frequency and very skilled traders are betting that the cost for Ethereum, or the price for Ethereum, is going to go up. I think I trust them. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll be sad on Saturday, right? But hopefully I'm happy. We'll find out. Raven coin again is in third place at 126. Not as attractive, but if you are a Raven coin maximalist, if you believe that Raven coin is going to definitely take the lead in the future, it might make sense for you. Maybe that bet will pan out for you. Maybe it'll pay off for you. And then Ethereum Classic at 123. So same logic applies there. Vega 56, the entry level Vega card. Let's check to see what's most profitable there, and it is Ergo. Shouldn't be a shock. It was last time as well, but almost $5. Bros, sisters, siblings, you, friends. That's a lot of money for one card. Almost $5 on Ergo every single day. Ethereum is only $3.11. Not the band. The number of cents. 311 cents every single day on Ethereum. Raven coin at 232. Not looking so good by comparison. But even Ethereum doesn't look very good by comparison on the Vega 56. Ergo is just undeniably the right choice in my mind. You can absolutely flip it if you don't want to hold it, and then go get something else with that extra profit, right? The almost $2 of extra profit. That's amazing. Top of the line for Vega series cards, Radeon 7. Let's calculate for that one. Again, 14-cent power. Yeah, Cryptid Youth, just hope it doesn't go down. Down. And Jungle John reminds us that they definitely are on the way to defeating LHR. Hey, Kevin Hawthorne is here as well. Kevin, thanks for joining us, man. Glad you could be with us tonight. And I got Ergo at top of the list here as well at $7.46. Yikes. Ethereum at $6.32. It's close, but not so close that I can ignore that. If you had Radeon 7s, clearly Ergo is the coin to mine. And then flipping that for profit. And for every one of those cards that you have, you're doing more than $1 in additional profit on Ergo over Ethereum. Ethereum Classic at $4.40. Raven coin pretty close. Sorry, $1 less at $3.39. And then Beam is there as well. So doing the composite score for the 5600 XT and the 6800 XT. Dave is saying most profitable is Conflux with my rigs. You know, we might see that it's more profitable if we bring the trading volume filter down to below 5 Bitcoin per day. So I apologize. We should probably look at that in the near future just to kind of shake things up a bit. That's a great call out though. Conflux might make more sense for some people. But for this composite score, it looks like Ethereum is at the top of the list at $6.98. Raven coin at $5.96. In my mind, that's a done deal for Ethereum. And Dave is asking, shouldn't you use current profit? Well, you can if you're willing to switch your rigs every single day and sell your profits every single day, as that ratio kind of moves with what's most profitable for the day, or it can move with what's most profitable for the day. I like mining the averages in the same way that I like dollar cost averaging with my money. So yeah, that's why I go with 7-day averages, just to kind of show that if I wanted to leave my rigs alone for 7 days and not ever change the algorithm, this is probably the safest bet to do that. I've got other stuff I focus on. I don't consider myself a full-time miner per se. I'm full-time interested in what mining can earn me or earn a client, so I can help them roll out, a warehouse full of mining gear. I've done that in the past, and I've helped them optimize a warehouse full of mining gear. But I find that even those clients, they're interested in just figuring out how to mine one thing and then leave it alone for like a month or 2 or 6 at a time. They don't want the headache either. So that's why I go with that. But yeah, so yeah, it looks like right now with that composite score, it's Ethereum, Ravencoin behind, and then Ergo at $6.64. Not nearly as attractive, but that's easy, right? Ethereum, super easy choice to make there. Team Green, let's go with 1060, 1660, 2060, and 3060 Ti. We'll go from this composite score and we'll jump in to do the deep dive that Cryptid Youth asked about before on that 3060 non-LHR model and then the 3060 Ti LHR model. Okay, let's check to see what to mine has to say about that. But you guys tell what to mine, or you guys tell Cryptid Youth what you think Cryptid Youth should mine. Give them some feedback. And calculate, see exactly what our profits are here. And Dave's saying, thanks, man. I only use 24 hours. I'm full-time at the moment, though. That's cool. That's really great, man. And some goblins saying some goblin loser saying that sounds like a tax headache too, man. Switching your rig every day with different coins. It could be, maybe. Maybe your wallet will remember what happened there. So there are ways to figure out your tax liability just by using your wallet. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Jungle says, love this channel. So at the moment, I'm a filthy casual using my 2070 Super to mine. And now I've shown myself how important this is. I'm looking for better hashing video cards, hence LHR interest. I'm also full-time now with the 2070 Super. Cool. That's great. All right, guys. So we've got those numbers lined up, and it's Firo. What? Firo at the top of the leaderboard. And again, guys, so I'm glad that Dave asked that question before. Ooh, I'm going to sit back down again. It sounded kind of weird. And this might sound weird, but speaking of filthy casuals, people who are jumping in just briefly to see the stream and are just like lurking, when they see me sit lower, my view count actually goes down. When I stand tall, my view count actually goes up. We're such incredibly such simple creatures sometimes. It's like, ooh, tall man alpha. I stay and watch. Here we go. I can tall man alpha. Big camera. Tall man alpha. Stay. Watch video. Just kidding. Anyway, but it is weird, right? Anyway, Firo is in the lead right now. Ergo is behind it, but that's only because of the averages that we have set, right? We're sorting by difficulty for revenue or by profitability over 7 days, right? Over 7 days. That's the profitability. So that's why Firo's in number 1 place, even though the profit is lower. So that's why I've sorted it that way. If you wanted to set it and forget it, you'd set it on Firo, right? You wouldn't set it on Ergo. And then Ethereum, even though it's even higher than Firo apparently would be consistent over 7 days, more so than Ethereum. Kind of crazy. We see a little bit of a flippening there for Team Green, at least when we have that filter, that volume filter of 5. Let's bring it down to just a volume filter of 1. Dave Jack says, you got me watching, waiting to see if the beard attacks anyone. I know, right? I probably do need to trim it back before it achieves sentience. Oh, gosh. But Complex Skepsis says, up or down? Is there a tinfoil hat coin I could give on Super Chat? Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious. Yeah, I probably should launch tinfoil hat coin. It's probably about time. The only problem is, I don't know how I would send to receive it with all these radio signals flying around. Like, I couldn't do that. That would make me feel very uncomfortable. Guys, jokes aside, Firo's at the top of the list. I wasn't expecting to see that. I thought it was going to be somewhere on the leaderboard because it has been for a while, but not at the top. That's kind of shocking, actually. But let's remove that volume filter. Let's kind of make this more personal, especially because we had a specific question about these GPUs. And let's see what else turns up. Conceal. Look at that. Conceal. Zano should already be there with that previous volume filter, but Conceal makes the leaderboard. That's pretty cool. Interesting to know. Another crypto note, a favorite of Savage Mind. Guys, you can throw them up in the comments section. Please do. And the hashtag Savage Mind or hashtag Keep It Savage. But lots of love shown to that project by Savage Mind. Really, if it were not for Savage Mind's efforts, I don't think that project would have been as popularized as it was. Wouldn't have caught on as well as it did. But that's very interesting there. Let's delete these other entries here. Start with the 3060 Ti. It's not the LHR model, but I think this should give us at least some idea. Only the ETH hash, I think, should be affected largely. You guys kind of set me straight here. From what I can tell right now, the top hashing algorithm that's affected is pretty much just Dagger Hashimoto, right? You're still getting pretty much your same hash rate on Ravencoin and your same hash rate on ProgPow and almost everything else. Pretty much, right? I think that's what we're seeing from people who are testing this. I thought so. So, Hey, Complex is saying good info here. Thanks, Mind Your Biz. Appreciate that. Thank you for being here. But here's 3060 Ti with all those new parameters. Still Ergo at the top of the list at almost $5 a day. Dang. If your LHR model is mining auto Lycos the way the non-LHR model is mining, I think that's like a no-brainer. Personally, I just do. You're almost $1 of daily profit more. I don't know why you wouldn't go that route. And we're still on that 7-day average. So that might be a way to go. Barry is saying issues with Ergo. Well, tell us more in the comments section. I'd love to hear more about what your issue is with Ergo. Dave is saying a little higher in the power limit side. I see. Aras is asking, do you also review altcoins? Well, yeah, I do. I review altcoins. And guys, if you've watched this channel for very long, I occasionally do paid reviews. I always disclose that they are paid up front. In the first 15 seconds, you'll know that it's a paid review. It's not the case tonight, but just so you know, I do actually execute reviews, and I do execute paid reviews where teams will contact me and say, look, we want somebody to do a deep dive on our exchange or our DEX or our coin or our new network or our new wallet or whatever. And that is something that I work on. So yeah, but it's always disclosed, just so you're aware. But yeah, see, Cryptid Youth, he loves Chia. It's true. I love Chia like I love BitConnect. Pretty much the same amount of love there. Oh my gosh, now that I'm sitting, I can show you how much more love I have for Chia than BitConnect. So much more love for Chia than for BitConnect. Guys, everything's all relative, right? Chia's amazing, and Ram Cohen is a saint compared to BitConnect and the BitConnect founders, right? It's all relative. So don't mind that at all. 3060, if we're going with the non-LHR model, we can see what's available here. Still Ergo, $3.39. Zano, the nearest neighbor in terms of competition, nearest competitor at $268. Ravencoin at $260. Hey, there's Conflux, and you know what? Conflux wouldn't have been affected by the volume filter. It's 11 Bitcoin of daily trading volume, but it's not close to Ergo. Ergo is almost a full $1 of daily profit more than Conflux, at least over the last week. And over the last 2 weeks or so, we've seen Ergo consistently outperform a lot of the other mineable coins. Guys, for as much as, like for my part, I'm like, oh, well, you know, I'm an Ergo fan. Not really. Maybe it's because I don't know enough about it yet, but like it's undeniable. I've been covering it for weeks now and just kind of seeing it pop up as the most profitable coin to mine. So if I weren't even an Ergo believer, but I had cards where it was that much more profitable, I'd be saying like, okay, well, how often do I want to flip this into something that I do believe in? Like my Bitcoin savings or whatever, right? My long-term hold coins like Bitcoin and others, right? I wouldn't necessarily have to hold on to it, but it's clearly earning more every day for the long haul, like consistently week over week with a 7-day average, which is why I do that. I could set it, forget it, and earn more with Ergo than with a lot of these other coins. So the person who asked about 3060 non-LHR and the 3060 Ti LHR, that's what I'm seeing here. There could be something else that I don't know about, or something else that is a consideration for you that wouldn't be a consideration for me, but I'm just seeing Ergo all day for those particular GPUs, and I'm seeing it dominate. Between those three models you talked about, that's $3 full of extra profit daily, and that's if you're on 14-cent power. If it's cheaper than that, it's more than $1 per card in extra profit every day. Crazy. So Aussie Boggin Tech has given us some education, some cultural enlightenment here. And is saying, Boggin? Is it Boggin or Bogan? It's Bogan, isn't it? But it's not Boffin. I know a little bit. I know things. But it says Bogan is an Australian and New Zealand slang term for a person whose speech, clothing, attitude, and behavior are considered unrefined or unsophisticated. The term can be pejorative or self-deprecating. We prefer to think of it as the latter, sir. Pinkies raised. You Boggin you. So, appreciate you sharing that with us, by the way. We very much enjoy our international culture here. We do. Bogan, thank you. Good grief. Yes, we do very much enjoy our international culture and our lessons here. It's great. Guys, we're an international community. That's what I love about the live comments, too. We're an international community, and we're doing something that's amazing. First off, we're talking about how our GPUs, which is very much a first world problem for us to have more than one, right? Or like more than one pair of shoes or whatever. I don't want to get too caught up in that because it'll hit you in the feels, right? If you think about it too long, we got it really good, right? But what binds us and what connects us is this really great pursuit of mining and cryptocurrency and all that. And we're contributing to a brand new system that could affect the world and change the way the world works. So we're already seeing it. That links us. We have so much more in common than not. Right? At least because of that pursuit. And if we can fix some of the problems that these cryptocurrency problems and blockchain solutions rather help to fix or can fix, then maybe there's some other problems we can fix too. It's really kind of an inspiring thing. I don't want to get overly sentimental here, but it's a pretty cool thing. I mean, when you think about it. So anyway, that's our value and efficiency cards. Dave Jack. He's saying, all I'm saying is the Kanakistan peso is crashing. Oof. Kanakistan peso. Yikes. Yeah. Get out if you can, while you can. I'm sorry to say it. So, guys, true story. You don't see it here. I used to have a sticker of Captain Canuck in my set because I personally know the author of the Captain Canuck series, the owner of Chapter House Comics, who invented and drew Captain Canuck. Not Captain Canada, Captain Canuck. Yeah, just small world, whatever. I wish he would get out of Canada. I would love for him to draw comics here in the United States, but gosh darn it, he's too much of a patriot. He wants to make it work right where he is. He wants to save his home. And that's, I respect that too. But let's go to the top of the line. 3090, 2080 Ti, 1660S, 1080 Ti, and let's keep that volume filter lower, down to 1 BTC. I don't think it's going to change our results all that much, but let's scroll down. And Dave Jack is saying from Vancouver, right? Yes, but I want to say he relocated some 10 years ago. I think he retired, like semi-retired. You never really retire, right? Like when you have that kind of like energy and output, you never really retire, but he did move. So we got top of the list, Ethereum at $15.16, and that's down from before. Wah! Thero at $14.24. I lied. Our leaderboard contains conceal. Really, decreasing that volume filter helped us out a lot to reveal conceal. Haha, we have revealed what was concealed. And it will line your wallet. The linings of your pocket line your pockets. Fall into your pockets if you reveal the concealed with your GPUs. So that's number 3. Thero number 2. Not a shock. It's been on the leaderboard quite a bit tonight. Thero. And then Ergo and Zano. Man, what's with the privacy coins taking our leaderboard by storm? I mean, I know it's not our top 5, but Zano is there again, Conceal is there, and Thero is there. These are all privacy coin projects, guys. I think the universe may or may not be trying to tell us something about privacy in our coins. Or they just happen to be the most profitable coins for the day. But that's inspiring to see, at any rate. And that's our top of the line for Team Green, guys. Very educational to take away that volume filter. Selfishly, I've got some Polaris cards, 8 gig cards. I'm going to refactor this or recalculate this with just the 1 Bitcoin of daily trading volume and see what else turns up. Nada, limonada. All right, moving on to the cost of mining 1 full Bitcoin. We're going to go to the Bitmain Antminer S9. This is our baseline configuration. Oh my gosh! Jungle John says he's still got a GTX 970 in a box. Any use, or shall I just sell it, remembering that I have an RX 560 as a spare too? I don't know why you would sell either when you probably could mine profitably with both. If I had to guess, you're probably gonna earn a little coin with either or both of those. Just saying. At almost any power rate, you're probably in the money with that. All right, going all the way up to 14 cents per kilowatt hour power. We're gonna get really, really close to the line there. Break even is 15.2 or 15.2 cents per kilowatt hour, which is not great. It doesn't bode well for us on the S9. And I've been saying this for some time, guys. We should probably be considering trying to retire this hardware soon or get to really cheap power and look at liquid immersion cooling if you have that option available to you. Really should be focusing on that. But $41,000 to mine one full Bitcoin, $41,500. Oof, I don't like it. I'm not comfortable with that. 8-cent power is your friend, or 8 cents in USD. It's your friend. Jungle John says, appreciated, Mind Your Biz. Hey, you're welcome. I hope that's helpful. You have to do some tests to know for sure, but maybe those cards are still good. Conflicts asks, do you think more privacy coins will have government backdoors as they increase in popularity upon mass adoption? I think it depends on the protocol, and we can do a deep dive about which ones potentially have that as a threat vector versus the ones that don't at all by virtue of their architecture. Because there are some that, like if Bitcoin, for example, if we continue down the path that we're going, you'll have to take much greater measures to maintain your privacy and anonymity on Bitcoin. Same with Ethereum on some level. However, with Ethereum, smart contracts do reintroduce some privacy by adding ZK snarks, right? The same privacy preserving technology that Zcash pioneered many years ago, Ethereum already has by default through smart contracts. So many coins on Ethereum are as private as Zcash is by itself with no DeFi running on top of it. But yeah, that's just to say, like, there's still really good chain analysis that can be run on Ethereum. And if you're not really cautious with it, you can absolutely be de-anonymized. So that's a great question. And I think it deserves a much deeper answer than what I just gave. But I'm not too worried about governments having so-called backdoors into cryptocurrencies. I think I'm more concerned about cryptocurrencies being made public by default and users not being careful. I think that's more likely. It's a bit like, telling people, hey, your phone is spying on you. And they say, oh, well, whatever. I'm just going to keep downloading all these apps from Google and using Maps by Apple. And Apple said they're going to scan all my photos. Whatever, I'm going to use iCloud anyway. I don't care. Right? Apathy will get us before the government backdoors will, I think, personally. But 8 cents per kilowatt hour power, now you're mining one full Bitcoin at $24,000 on that S9. And that is starting to make sense. You've heard me say I'm much more comfortable at closer to the $20,000 mark, but even this is better. So for an Antminer S9, if you've got one, if you're mining on one, get thee to 8 cent power immediately. Let's move from that baseline over to the MicroBT WhatsMiner M20S and take a look at this. Complex says, do a deep dive on that. Could be worth some views. Thanks for the reply. Hey, you're welcome. Guys, this is a live show. Try to keep it as interactive as possible. And as long as you're respectful, hey, we're gonna respond to you respectfully. So keep on asking questions, keep on answering them. You guys are great. But 8 cents per kilowatt hour power, now we're talking, right? 18.2 thousand US dollars for every Bitcoin that you mined. And your break-even point is much higher. See that 27 cent per kilowatt hour power? You could still be mining profitably, barely. RSM is saying, okay, so personally, I like the O3 coin. O3 Swap is their site. If you could give your opinion, I'd appreciate it, but obviously you don't have to. Well, I appreciate you giving me an out there. I don't know much about it, so I'd have to look into it a little bit more. I don't really have an opinion that I've formed yet. There are a lot of projects out there, many that are good, right? That's the problem. There are so many good projects that it's hard to even just cover the good ones. And then there's so many bad projects too, that it's hard to sometimes discern initially whether or not a project is worth the time. But I'll try to take a look at that. Jungle John, I've not even heard of O3 coin searches real time. Yeah, I'm not going to even start, guys. Live, I cannot afford to go to YouTube prison. So I don't want to see what's on their homepage. It's a surprise. But right now at 8 cent power, we see on that MicroBT WhatsMiner M20S, we've got 14 cent or $14,000 per Bitcoin. At 14 cents per kilowatt hour, we're mining one full Bitcoin for $24,000. So it's not great, but you could do it at home. And then Jungle John saying, I do wonder though, find a random coin, buy 10 of them and hodl. Haha. Hey man, a lot of people have earned a lot of money in cryptocurrency by speculating exactly after that fashion, right? Finding tens or hundreds of coins and getting them when they're ultra cheap and just hedging their bets across that many coins. Stuff that is, they thought wasn't complete garbage or maybe was marginally not garbage. And then just, sowed all their little investment seeds, right? Tiny little dollars here and, a tenner there and whatever, $100 over here if they thought it was a better bet. A lot of people have done really well in cryptocurrency over time. And RS says, I said that because it sounds demanding. It's all right. You didn't sound demanding to me. But that's the cost of my one full Bitcoin. Taking a look at our Bitcoin mining statistics. The global net hash for Bitcoin keeps going up. There we are at 132 exahash, up from before. No, I'm sorry. We were at 133 before, slightly back down. And that was up from 111 prior. And that's kind of a shock to see how much that's gone up. The difficulty adjustment, I think, just went up, or is it about to just go up? Is it mempool.space? Is that what we used? Yep, mempool.space is what we used last time. Thank you again to the person who contributed it. Looks like we've got 3% left in the current period. No, we've only started 3%. The difficulty has adjusted. Yeah, difficulty has adjusted for Bitcoin. It's gone up. Network difficulty has definitely gone up. But it looks like maybe it didn't go up quite as badly. No, it's gone up to 17 from 13. So significantly up. And I wonder if that's going to... I wonder if anybody's going to drop off the network because of that. We'll see. Maybe we'll see that on Saturday. Some miners perhaps drop off and the network hash rate goes down. Ethereum holding pretty much steady at around 600 terahash. But let's take a look at our portfolio, boys and girls. See, Complex says, once mass adoption happens, the amount of spammers will most likely grow tremendously. So as always doing due diligence, not only technical, but fundamental analysis. Yeah, I agree. It's so important. It's so important, guys. And you hear me say it a lot. You got to take accountability for your own choices. Shows like this, I'm trying to be some kind of a helpful source, but not an authoritative source, so to speak. Drop that guy down a little bit so I don't have to stand up quite so tall. But I don't consider myself like this authoritative source where everything I say is gospel truth and you should just listen to me. Not by a long shot. You've got to figure out how to come up with a framework that helps you make your own decisions, right? Hopefully some of the stuff we look at assists you in building up that framework so it really helps you see things that could be big red flags or could really give you insight as to projects that carry better potential. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that. It's so important. All right, our GPU mining portfolio. Complex sepsis. Don't stand up. The views go down. LOL. Yeah, it's a crazy thing, guys. It's a crazy thing. GPU portfolio. Ergo, this might be why mining profits are up so high. The coin price is up really high. It's the highest in the list. Our 24-hour change is 1.2% up. Total P&L since we created this portfolio is down by 5.4%. If you're new to this segment, guys, created a bunch of paper trades here. So all of this was submitted into a portfolio on May 26th of this year. And at about 5:30 p.m. UTC -6 time. So all consistently, same time of day, approximately, on the same day, but all paper trades. These don't represent real dollars for anybody in the audience or myself. Okay, so when you see these numbers, this is, first off, not my net worth. I'm not worth kidnapping and I'm trying to torture or whatever to get my private keys or my seed phrase. So put that idea right out. But also, this doesn't represent anybody's actual portfolio. This is a paper portfolio that we're all tracking together to just get a sense for what these coins have been doing since May, right? Since all the prices were depressed. Now we're getting a chance to see which coins have recovered the most since we put that $1,000 in. Looks like Ergo is top of the list. And that trend line right there is a strong. Here's the Bitcoin trend line right here on RenBTC and Wrapped Bitcoin. See how it's almost identically correlated between those two projects because they both correlate to Bitcoin. Up here in Ergo, look at that trend line, that massive upward channel. That's nuts. It's been doing amazingly well, likely in part owing to not only Cardano announcing a date for smart contracts to go live, but the most recent announcement of Cardano being listed on exchange in Japan. So, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. Well, that's the rumor, is that smart contracts are happening. But there's also real news in this listing in Japan, right? That's going to affect price positively. It's going to be a very, very healthy lift to any coin that's in the Cardano ecosystem, like Ergo. So we see Ergo back here at the top of the list. The 7-day numbers are especially impressive. Over the last 24 hours, it has come back down. You see right there, a little dip, but nothing compared to the amount of upward price action and movement over the last 7 days. Jungle John is asking, one sentence version, what's a smart contract? And Aras is joining on the fun. I'm glad I'm not alone. Ask me anything. But one sentence version, what is a smart contract? I'm going to do my best here. I'd like for our audience to try to take this on their own as well. Let me warm up here for a second, but you guys do your best to write it out. You've got the advantage because you're not moving off the cuff. You're trying to type this out and you have a chance to revise your thoughts. So before I start, a smart contract in one sentence. Smart contract is a list of rules that governs how a token on top of blockchain can or can't be used, or can be used inside of a decentralized application. Yeah, Dave Jack says, already more than a sentence. Unsubbed. Thumbs down. Canceled. Thanks, man. I needed that. I'm just saying, everybody needs a bit of resistance in life. Healthy competition. Dave is... That comment is proving too much. Okay, I give up. I'll go off of large screen. Seriously though, Ravencoin is number 2, and it doesn't look like it's positive over the last week, but it did have a healthy run up, sort of like a midweek rip, and then came back down. Dave Jack, thanks a moment. And no, you guys, it's thanks. It's bye, Dan. Bye, Dan. Bye, Dan. See ya. All right, so. But we got that healthy midweek spike running way up. And it's a little bit correlated to the Bitcoin right there, the midweek pump, and that's sort of like, or Ethereum rather, did a Bart Simpson right there midweek. See that? There's Bart Simpson's head, his little hairstyle right there, little flat top. Bitcoin didn't quite do a Bart Simpson, but it did pump up and then sort of range sideways a little bit, sort of descending tops there, like toppling downward. And wow. Matic Aave interest-bearing wrapped ETH did a super Bart Simpson right there all the second half of the week. Boom! We call this the Mega Bart Simpson. That's the official name for this formation. And then Conceal just randomly spiked. I don't know what happened in the last 24 hours, but Conceal just popped off. And its current market cap definitely has recaptured my interest there. That's awesome to see. Biggest loser is still Haven, still down 65%, still below $5, around $4.30. And Junko-chan saying, I feel that I should have bought some Conceal. You know, he's an accidental poet, and he made me one as well. Complex Skepsis says, Bart with a cowlick. That's a really good one, yeah. That's the official name for that second one. Bart with a cowlick. Boop. Go get a comb, boy. So, yeah, Haven, still our biggest loser. Kind of a bummer. It's up recently, but over the 7 days, it's not doing so hot. BitTube is alive. Swap is still there. Mimblewimble marches on. Nano, not back up to its previous $1,000 mark that we put in initially in May, but it's fighting. And we keep seeing it be profitable in the mining charts. So that's exciting to see. Same with Conflux. Similar situation, only up by about another $100. So much closer to that $1,000 mark than even Zano is. Let's see. The line that separates sort of the winners from losers, so to speak, is right here at Ethereum Classic. Everything above that line is back to its $1,000 mark from when we initially put in our paper trade. But let's move on from our GPU mining portfolio into hard drive mining coins. Hard drive mining coins have still got Made Safe at the top of the pack. 24-hour change is up 5.7%. Total P&L is also up 3.7%. It's exciting to see that. But Made Safe coin is still kind of the hero in this side of the portfolio. Everything above the line from Filecoin is back over its $1,000 mark. Signum and Chia are still lagging, but Chia in particular, we put in $1,000, we've got 381. Current price for Chia, $255. So it's been struggling to maintain that $250 mark in price, but it's doing it, right? It hasn't dipped too far below 250 since we first saw it hit that level. So Chia holders rejoice. You haven't lost too much more since you first lost so much. So there you go. Jungle John says, what do you think about these SSD mining coins? Well, you know, I made a video entitled "You Will Fail at Chia Mining." If that is any indication about how I felt about that one. I didn't feel that way about Burst or Signum. I don't feel that way about Filecoin or Siacoin, any of the others, storage, all the rest, etc. Chia, I saw some problems, we'll just say. Not with the core protocol itself, or not with the project by itself per se, but I did have an issue with how fast the net space was growing. It was clearly staying exponential for longer than, or rather parabolic, for longer than people were admitting that it would or projecting that it would. And so I saw some issues with people maybe trying to jump in, buy hard disks and SSDs, and maybe get wrecked on the price of new gear. So I said so. I said something. I was really loud about it, actually. To the extent that once on a live stream, Bram Cohen jumped into the comments and got kind of feisty, got kind of defensive. So didn't mean to make it personal, and it's still not, but I think it was a mistake for the vast majority of people at home who were going to go out and get hard drives to do that. It would have been better for like data centers or for enterprise cloud providers to just take spare hard disk space that they already had lying around. And I think that Bram kind of confirmed that that was the intent of Chia. It really wasn't for at-home miners. So people who did earn something, they kind of lucked out. But that's maybe a more thorough summary of my thoughts on Chia and hard drive mining in general. We kind of see here that Signum as well. I don't think anybody who's mining Signum right now is in the money. I don't think that they're earning any profit. So kind of a bummer. Let's see. Limitless Combo asks, doesn't it depend on your ROI? Well, yeah, that's a great point. It really does depend on your ROI. But for most people who were jumping in and using a coin price of at least $1,600 for Chia, they just had, their head was in the clouds, and they were buying new gear, banking on Chia being at least $1,600. Where is it now? It totally corrected. I mean, it corrected really, really hard. So yeah. Anyway, I took some pity on folks that were jumping in, I think, too fast. And then I heard a lot of sob stories, guys. Yes, there have been people who kind of jumped in and defiantly in the comment sections said things like, well, I already earned some Chia, so I'm fine. Oh, hey, I already earned my money back. And then others who were putting on a good face and pretending like they earned a lot of Chia, but clearly hadn't liquidated any. And so they rode their Chia from $1,600 all the way down to $180. Like, ouch. Ouch. So I don't feel bad about being a whistleblower and telling people, hey, this is really not for you. Maybe get coins if you want to at a low price, like buy them, but I would not go out and get new hardware if I were you. I feel no shame, no guilt at all about blowing the whistle, because I heard many more comments come in that said, hey, Seth, you actually saved me from getting wrecked. I was about to spend 15 grand on new hard drives. Or I had a friend that asked me if we could, like, together, jointly, spend tens of thousands of dollars on new hard drives. You might have just saved us from getting totally wrecked. My conscience is clear. I sleep very well at night for being a very vocal, conscientious objector like that. So, you know, whatever. People who want to pretend like they made profits, but secretly didn't actually sell. I just pity them. Really, I do. I had no ill will at all, but I feel bad. I feel bad that I couldn't help more people. Anyway, Moving on from the hard drive portfolio, CPU mineable coins. Our 24-hour change is up 9.47%. Complex Skepsis sleeps like a bearded baby. It's true, and I've got the skin to match, but don't look at my rear end. And total P&L, 10.5% up. Everything's pretty much positive, guys. As far as the portfolio itself, only Varus coin is still below the $1,000 mark, and it's about as healthy as it's looked since we've made this portfolio. Varus was dragging for a long time, but it's clearly back, right? It's doing really well. It's only 9.4% down, so Varus is basically within spitting distance of being profitable again, not even just breaking even. Dave Jack. Some people shake their babies too hard, Seth. We just can't unshake them. Wow, Nero is above the $1,000 mark. Just an amazing coin for what it is. Meme coin / testnet coin. If you're not familiar, Ian says, hey, Seth, or says, your stance on Chia is the reason why I'm here. The hard truth is truth much needed. And then, yeah, GG, Seth. Limitless Combo says there is as long as price of the coin remains at its current area, but that may not be the case much longer. Yeah, he may have been responding to Nicholas saying, man, no way to mine Chia profitably. And I agree, as long as you factored in like all these sides, seeing, and that's why I keep mentioning it, guys, when we see Chia find support at 250, like keep that support level for a while, that's very positive to see that stability. We don't want high volatility in this new coin as miners who are buying new gear. Or as you're trying to tell people to mine new gear or buy new gear, if you're considering buying new gear, that massive volatility, whew, like, what a headache, right? Thinking like, okay, well, coin could be over $1,000 next week, but then it could go all the way back down to $100 the week following. Yikes. Opposed Gravity is asking about a project that I'm not very familiar with, and I have heard about it. I have, and I think it's connected to a publishing platform, but I don't know a whole lot about it. So thanks for bringing that up. And then Out There Life is asking, what's your opinion about searching out the earliest NFTs on new chains that you think will do well? Well, I mean, selfishly, I'm going to be working with an NFT artist and creator and possibly doing some additional collabs really soon. So selfishly, I would love for a lot of people to do what you just said. As far as a speculative, strategy to move forward and maybe earn something from speculating on new NFTs, man, I don't know. I don't know. Really, your guess is as good as mine. Like, if you got into CryptoPunks 2 years ago, clearly you're doing well. If you got into CryptoPunks 2 days ago, clearly you're wrecked, right? Like, it is a question of timing the market with NFTs, not necessarily time in the market, because now you got so many new NFT drops that it's not a question of having gotten in early. It's a question of, like you're saying, going out there, trying to do due diligence. Gary V, right, on Twitter, he said, I spend at least 50 hours on vetting new NFT drops. But like you're saying, if you want to be Johnny on the spot and get an early NFT drop, you don't have 50 hours to spend. You have maybe at best 5, maybe. You probably have more like, whatever, half an hour. Yeah. Yeah, Jungle John is taking a guess at the coin that was mentioned being connected to an operating system. It's not. It is something else. But yeah. I actually got a few comments to jump back through and see what else came in. Ooh, Barry Merritt brings up a very good point. He said, when Bram Cohen sold home users on buying 18 terabyte USB backup drives for $218 to farm Chia, it's proof of the deception. Well, you said it, not me. I don't want there to be any kind of fodder for any kind of like defamation claim on my part, because I don't think that Bram's a bad guy per se, but I do think that, yeah, the messaging did kind of shift. And I think that he finally, like, it's funny, most human beings, they'll do the right thing when no other options are available left to them, right? So Bram definitely did come around to telling everybody that it's mostly for enterprise level players and that they're going to be the ones that actually, actually win in the long term. Dave Jack, let's invest in Netscape next. All right. And more comments coming in, guys. Definitely appreciate those questions and definitely appreciate the suggestions for other projects that we can take a look at in the future. As far as the CPU mining portfolio, Monero is only second place. Raptorium, from the $1,000 we put in, is about $2 ahead of it. So good job, Big Piggy and the Raptorium team. You guys are just awesome. You're doing great, and it's showing in price action right now. It's not the most important thing, but it's always really gratifying to see when a team's hard work pays off with price action. So great job, Raptorium team. They've been consistently taking the lead there. ASIC mineable coins. Let's see what we got. Decred in number 1 spot, Dash in number 2. 24-hour change up 2%. Total PNL up 1.77%. Bitcoin in third place. Let's see where our dividing line is. Yep, Zcash separates the profitable from the not so profitable, and it's flipped with Pirate Chain. It was the other way around before. Pirate Chain just barely below the $1,000 mark. Same with Litecoin. Horizon below 900, Dogecoin below 900, and notably below the price of WowNero. WowNero is 20 cents more per coin than Dogecoin. WowNero has totally flippened Dogecoin. Feels good. It's true though. Monero has strong fundamentals. So Dogecoin is fun, but I wouldn't say it has fundamentals. Bytecoin, dead last, negative 27%. So yeah, that's not a shock. And in my estimation, that's probably right about where that project belongs. In terms of fundamentals, it doesn't exactly have the strongest fundamentals either. Moving on from ASIC mineable coins, going to FPGA mineable coins. Our 24-hour is 2.13% up. Total PNL is negative 17. This portfolio is in the red. Only one is back above profit. Cadena is in profit. And so Cadena holders rejoice because you weren't in profit up until just recently. And then biggest loser, still 0x Bitcoin, unless you count the volatility, in which case you could be a winner. Swing trading, 0x Bitcoin. We've talked about this for a while, guys. It's a very interesting pattern that clearly has a programmatic oscillation built into it somehow. I don't know how that happens. There's some kind of watch trading on one of the exchanges, but it's this consistent flip, up, down, and it's like clockwork. I mean, literally at specific times of day, it's moving up and down. And if you are putting in, options, or if you're not even options, if you're just buying low and selling high, you're making money on this coin. But if you can find an options market for it, you're making even more money on the way up and the way down. So I think probably more likely to swing trade with that coin on some exchange where you can do paper trades and not lose too much in gas fees. We've covered that a couple times. I'm probably not going to cover it again, but it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So Nimic is second to last. It was in the top spot for a while. So sorry, guys. It's a bummer to see that lose just so badly. Now, this is where things get interesting. We've been talking about proof of stake smart contract coins and networks for a while. And we've got a new portfolio and we've added Avalanche. Since last I saw you, we added Avalanche. And since adding it, AVAX, that same entry point at May 26th, AVAX has vastly outperformed even Solana. Right? Solana is up by 100%. AVAX is up by almost 100 or 130%, 20% higher than Solana. And Solana was doing great. Wax in a number 4 at over 100% up. All of those are leaving even Cardano in the dust. And Cardano was ripping. Cardano was absolutely ripping it up. Mark Allen's in the house. Thanks for saying hello, man. Appreciate that. Opposed Gravity is asking questions and giving answers, talking about CPU mineable coins. Yep. So appreciate that. Giving some response on Monero. Thanks, guys, for helping out there. But guys, looking at these proof of stake smart contract platforms, we started today's session or today's mining market signal talking about how we're seeing a lot of these proof of stake smart contract and EVM compatible smart contract platforms basically pull liquidity out of Ethereum. it's not that they're actual Ethereum killers or any one of them is air quotes Ethereum killers, as much as together they're sort of like Ethereum vampires, right? Where it's like, we're not going to kill you, but we are going to suck your blood. Maybe we're just going to like leave you in the closet as a tasty snack for DeFi and for NFTs. And we'll come back and get you in a couple months, right? That's what Cardano is basically threatening right now by saying, hey, we're going to bring out smart contracts on this date. So mark your calendars, everybody. And a bunch of people who were Ethereum kind of like dabbling in DeFi, but sort of Cardano maximalists or Cardano loyalists, because they had big, heavy underwater bags from before. They're like, oh yeah, it's going to be so great. But then they're right. The price action moves up. Even if Cardano itself is not where there's a lot of DeFi or NFTs or anything interesting going on, these people are being rewarded. And we're seeing it here in the chart. Terra just destroying. Out There Life is asking, any of you looked at the earlier NFTs on Solana? I haven't yet, but now I'm really interested because I know that there are NFTs on Solana and some of the DeFi projects on Solana. Everyone pretty much comes back and says they're having a good experience with it. So I'm eager to check it out. I know a couple of developer friends who they're just in love with Solana. They've talked a little bit about developing on Polkadot and definitely know some people who've been interested in the parachain auctions on Polkadot, but my developer friends who are like really big on Solidity, a lot of them have just said like, no, I'm focused intensely on Solana above most other platforms. And then again, some other friends who were like, well, I'm interested in Avalanche because as we see TVL move into Avalanche, it should get more of a pumpening too. It's nuts, guys. There's so much strategy that you could take from this landscape here and possibly win big. So do your homework. But this portfolio, right? The tail of the portfolio, the tail of the paper trades. Look at these guys. All of them started with $1,000. All four of these are over $2,000. With Terra over $4,000. This is insane money. This is clown world money. It doesn't make sense. You can't make sense of this. Right? Like some of these are good projects. Others just happen to be at the right place at the right time and are rewarding their holders massively. So $11 billion worth of value in Terra. Somebody there, who knows? Somebody there just became a billionaire because they happened to be in the right place at the right time. Pretty amazing to see, though. It's, really, just humbling to witness that people are earning that much by being a part of these projects. The wax came up really strong. You see that move up? There's not even a word for that. That's not even parabolic. That's hockey stick, like boop, straight up. Just moves straight up. But the Cardano, it's no slouch either. Binance Coin, I think, is probably as an artifact of being associated with Binance Smart Chain. It's been going up. Ethereum, though, is back over our target of $1,000. Same with Polkadot. Even Tron is back in the money. But that's where the fun stops. We got the first loser is Neo. The biggest loser is ICP. 55.68% down. But in second place, Polygon. That's a bummer to see, guys, especially for those of us who are taking our mining payouts on Matic. Boo. I would love to see Matic. I'd love to see Polygon come back much stronger. That'd be amazing to see. But in the meantime, you can always bridge out of it. It is just another option for scaling on Ethereum. EOS, Zilliqa, and Neo, I don't know what is happening on those networks that's of any real interest. Oh, hey, we got Black Bear Crypto coming through with a super chat and is asking, hey, mind your biz. When do you think Chia will bottom out, if ever? And what do you think of Ethereum staking as an investment strategy? Awesome stream, man. Hey, thank you. And to your first question about Chia bottoming out, I don't know. It's held support really well at 250. Mentioned it before when we went over the portfolio, and I think that's a really good thing. It could be that that's the strongest sign of health for Chia moving forward. However, if it doesn't continue to go up in tandem with Bitcoin and other assets that are sort of like reserve assets in crypto, then we could see a much lower support floor later on when we return to a bear market. I think that'd be a really sad thing to see. But if that's the case, we could see it chopped in half of what it is right now or lower, because other coins will do that when we return to something of a bear market, or it just corrects really suddenly with a 50% drawdown. This happens, right? This is cryptocurrency. We see 50% drawdowns pretty frequently, like more frequently than almost any other asset class. And that's considered normal, right? So I think Chia could go down much lower. As far as when will it like bottom out, man, I don't know. I cannot even attempt to guess there. Staking Ethereum as an investment strategy, well, you do you. You got to do your own research. You got to do your own due diligence. And just for the record, I don't really give strategy here. I try to give tools and I try to give interpretation so we can do more of our own due diligence and do so more intelligently. But as far as Ethereum, I think we're seeing right now a lot of other coins that are coming in and saying that for staking, they might be a better option. I think that's what the investment, all the investment group that's gone into these other tens of billions of dollars worth of projects. I think that's what their money is saying is that they prefer Ethereum as a staking vehicle, or rather these projects as a staking vehicle over Ethereum. But I could be wrong. So great questions though, man. Really appreciate you asking. Staking Ethereum may not be a bad option though, right? Like many have tried. You have come close to actually destabilizing DeFi and NFTs on Ethereum, right? And Ethereum is still where all that stuff happens. And I don't see that changing anytime soon, even if the fees stay high. So kind of like it'll be the DeFi and NFT platform that we love to hate, right? Because the fees are so high, but we don't leave because it's what everybody built on. So until there are really good bridges out of Ethereum, it's going to be hard to see a lot of people move. But I don't know. It could be that when we get to proof of stake, that a lot of those bridges are built. And I don't know, there might not be as much loyalty as we think when we get there. But yeah, if it helps, I'm not going to be staking on Ethereum. That's just me. I don't see that happening. But you do you. All right, guys, this is our proof of stake smart contract portfolio. And man, when I added Avalanche, that shook me awake. Look at that trend right there. Very different from the others with this unique peak. See that? Sort of like pumping on its way up every other day this week. And now, yeah, it's finding some support down below, but just continuing to pump upward. Terra, the other way around, it was already very high in price, and it had its pumpeting event not this week. Solana as well, kind of correcting. And then Wax would be another one that, like Avalanche, people who were holding, they really came into the money this week on Wax. Let's take a look at Wax first. So we can just kind of see over the last 14 days. Yep, 14 days holding support. 30 days should show about the same, holding support until boom, that massive event. Same with 90 days, 180 days, and we can go all the way. Well, no. Okay. Looks like we are returning to kind of near all-time high then. Right now, let's see, support is at 34 cents. Previous all-time high, I think, was 33. So this isn't unheard of, but it took a while. Anybody who was getting into Wax apparently more recently, yeah, they're finally being rewarded again. But this is also when Bitcoin was close to $64,000. So we expect everything to be up in that range. For it to outperform Bitcoin is pretty amazing. Take a look at the max, though. Go all the way back in time when it first launched, way back. There you go. January of 2018. Oh my gosh. $2 on that initial listing. You never did better than when it first launched. Even end of January, had you gotten out, you would have been able to buy back in and grow your bag significantly. But that's a crazy chart to look at. Some just do that though. And it's funny because it launched as an NFT platform. It launched with the intention of being a worldwide asset exchange platform. So Wax is a funny coin. What do you guys think of Wax though? As far as it being an NFT platform, if you're a miner or if you're not a miner, would you be more or less willing to use Wax to get collectibles? I mean, they've got Funko, they've got Garbage Pail Kids or Tops, they've got MLB, they've got the all kinds of other properties there, and they're signing more properties all the time. I think they've got Deadmau5 too, and a few other like performers, and a few other like well-known people that are releasing on Wax. Does that make you more or less inclined to use their platform for NFTs? Or are you one of those people who's like, I don't get NFTs at all and I don't want to get them anywhere, right? Do you prefer physical, tangible trading cards and trading media and collectibles? Let me know. But here's the Terra chart. Dave Jack, you had me at Garbage Pail Kids. Heck yeah. Who doesn't like Garbage Pail Kids? And here's the question, Dave, do you know which Garbage Pail Kid you are? Which one was named Dave? And what was their vice or whatever? Because mine was Bad Breath Seth. But Terra Luna, last 7 days have been interesting. Take a look at 14 days, and yeah, we see a definite upward movement with massive trading volume to go with it, up to over $1 billion. Now we're at the peak, over $2 billion of trading volume every day or every period there. And yeah, we see kind of a consistent march upward over the last 30 days. 90 days, not so much. It's really been the last 30 days as we've gone from neutral sentiment all the way into greedy sentiment that Terra's really moved upwards, with more recently a double top here. I don't know if maybe we're going to see a pretty big correction here with Terra, or maybe we see something more correlated to Bitcoin, but that's pretty crazy to see there. Take a look at our volume here. Binance is where the majority is. Yeah, I don't know about that. OKX, pretty big volume there. Huobi, pretty big volume there. And then looks like Bitfinex is where all the rest of the volume is. Bummer. I'd love to get exposure to it in a decentralized way, not on one of those platforms there. So hopefully I can find a way to do that. Dave says his Garbage Pail Kid was Dizzy Dave. Yeah, it sounds about right. All right, guys, that is our portfolio. And I think we're doing pretty well. It looks like especially platforms like Solana, Wax, Avalanche, and Terra. I think the common thread between all these is not just smart contracts and maybe some DeFi, but NFTs right now. If we're boiling it down to what's hot in the most recent news cycle, Solana has NFTs, Wax has NFTs, Avalanche will, and Terra will, or Avalanche does, and Terra will. So maybe that's a common thread there in the stuff that's really been ripping over the last 30 days. Maybe I'm off base. You guys tell me what you think there. Really briefly, before we... well, we're not going to end the stream just yet, but let's take a look at our chart real fast on Bitcoin. Okay, so we did dip through that target that we drew with the chopsticks. Pretty close, right? And we didn't, but we did also, yeah, looks like if we were to continue along the line that we drew for the 200-day moving average as well, that's right about where we hit the bounce. So we had the chopsticks kind of drawn here, and we said, you know what would be a really great sort of like support level? It'd be really cool to see 48. What we found instead was that it was a resistance level as we were trying to recover, right? A little mini bounce or dead cat, and then it did its proper bounce, or reversal rather, at this point off the 200-day moving average, or what we projected to be the 200-day moving average. That's pretty interesting. It's almost like some of these indicators working together are helpful. A little bit. I mean, sort of. Just a little bit. Hey, guys. Nicholas giving us a report on that new card. There's new cards saying, thanks for the MSI advice. Got 10% more hash rate and still testing to see if I can get more. Man, that's awesome. Okay, so you got some settings you can then translate over to Hive OS or Simple Mining or any mining OS that you choose to use later on. That's great news, man. Thanks for the update there. But guys, this is our current Bitcoin chart. Clearly, we've hit a reversal, but I mean, I don't think that we're going to continue to move up. I think that this is still another bounce. And I think we may be moving back down. And I don't know if it's going to come back to this previous projected 200-day moving average support line or what. I'm not going to pretend, but I'm not going to redraw these lines yet either. I'm going to leave that support line there. The chopsticks we can probably just have on deck for later on, right? No chopstick lines at the moment. We'll come back to chopsticks in a minute. But I think this 200-day moving average line has been apparently part of the most helpful lines that we drew on the chart last time. We're just going to leave them for now, not read into it too much. And before I let you guys go, I want to run a quick drawing from last live stream. That's right, from Monday's live stream. That's the YouTube URL right there. Gonna filter duplicate users. I'm going to include replies to comments and exclude blacklist users. Yeah, me. Just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. Let's get the YouTube comments from that video right now. 9 comments, so not a whole lot there. This time I'm gonna hit start. I actually know this works now. Boop, 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 boop. And, oh, Gavin Dawson Crypto, what do you say? Terrific show. It was a blessing. I tuned in to around the blockchain when you were on. Keep rocking. Hey, thank you so much. So Gavin Dawson Crypto is on the list when we get those free drops from our NFT partner, Gavin Dawson. You, sir, will get one. Guys, I appreciate you watching all the way to this point in the video. Thanks for hitting that thumbs up button. Thank you for being subscribed. Clicking the bell icon so you're notified when new media comes out. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you want to be notified of videos like this in the future, first off, click subscribe, press the bell icon. Additionally, you can sign up for the Mind Your Biz email newsletter. That'll give you exclusive access to certain freebies, notifications for deals within the cryptocurrency mining space, as well as some of our flash sales for merchandise, which you can buy with cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the only cryptocurrency merch that you can buy with cryptocurrency. We practice what we preach. As always, thank you so much for watching. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.